Hey, BJ O'Neill here with Business Coach Mastery with a training all related to pain point marketing. What we're talking about here is being able to have conversation, to build relationship, to add value from a marketing perspective. You can consider this, in the lead generation phase. In other words, the things that you're going to do, the activities that you're going to do in order to build relationships where someone's going to say, I see you as a problem solver and someone who can help me to be able to grow my business, my revenues, and my profits, because that's what we do as Christian business coaches, okay? So it's all about being able to identify the pains, the challenges, and so on for that business owner, and this should become an art, all right? So foundationally, you want to look at the pains and the challenges of businesses, right? And you want to look at it from a marketing perspective. It's not about being swarmy. It's not about being, is that even a word? It's not even about being salesy at all. It's really being able to identify and help those businesses identify what those pains are. And you're talking about that from a marketing perspective as you're building those relationships, again, where they begin to see you, they begin to know you, they begin to like you, they begin to trust you more, and recognize that you could help them. So the first thing is identifying and understanding the pain points, we'll call it the gaps for that client. All right, so for any prospect rather, they're not a client yet, right? They're a prospect. And while there's by far some very standard elements that the vast majority of businesses deal with, there's going to also be specific areas that you do want to pinpoint, want to talk about, because that's the itch that specific prospect has. So, for context, you're talking with a prospect, and every single prospect, you need to understand this principle. Number one, they have current known pains that they're dealing with. Let's say that again. They have current known pains. They also have, you ready for this? Pains that they don't know about. And it happens all the time. And the art form, and this is where you begin to master this part of the lead generation process, is that, let's just say that the pains that they have, they're not near as relevant as the pains that they don't know about. And that may be a complete and total factual thing. Well, if you just trounce and dash water on their current pains of what that's the itch that they're dealing with, and you're trying to point to these things over here that they've not considered just yet, done incorrectly, you're going to push that prospect away because they're sensing friction, they're sensing challenge, they're going to sense that they're not listening to me. And as a coach, you definitely want to engage in empathetic listening. You want to be able to understand and to empathize. So as we begin to listen, it starts first to listen, we ask great questions, right? One of my favorites, I talk about this all the time in our trainings and our podcasts and the content that we do, is all around and centered around the idea of, hey, let me just ask you this question. When you lay your head on the pillow at night, what's the angst? What's the things that's keeping you from closing your eyes and fully going to sleep? Again, we're talking about business building and the challenges of running the business and so on. What are those pains? When you start asking questions like that, you're going to start to unearth their itches. You're going to start to unearth what they're going through. What you're also going to begin to hear is you're going to hear similarities from one prospect to another prospect and another prospect. And this is how you begin to pull that content into your marketing strategies. Regardless of your lead gen and the things that you're doing to build relationships, you're going to pull that in and you're going to be able to repeat it back out. And that's when they're going to start to have this angle of wow, they really understand me. They get me. So you got to identify them. You want to identify the ones that they're going through. And then you want to identify the pain points that we know that are traditional challenges. Let me kind of share with you, I'm going to give you 2 or 3 just traditional challenges that the vast majority of businesses go through. Number one, they don't have enough customers and they want more customers. All right, that's one of them. Number 2, A lot of them don't have a clear message. Now, they may not understand that. They may think that their message is clear. But oftentimes, almost 90% of the time, the vast majority of businesses don't have clear messages. And if they had a clear message and a better value proposition, they would solve their first problem, which is more leads and more clients for themselves. All right. So that's by far the message is a big thing. And then the third is many of them don't, and I'm just giving you some foundational ones. There's a lot of them, right? But we won't dive too far into that. But the third, they don't know how to offer either additional products and services or how to cross-sell the things that they already have. All right? And so I'm going to give you an example. Again, the context, we're still under identifying and understanding the pain points. We're identifying and understanding the gaps. So number one, I'm going to kind of review. We're making sure that we're asking great questions to discover the itch of the prospect, what they're going through, the things that keeps them awake at night, the things that drives them crazy. A lot of their pains, some of their pains are things that they just don't like to even deal with. They don't have the skill set for them. They're not the right person, and they don't yet have anybody doing it, so there's an aversion to it. There's also those types of things. Then you get into the other pain points themselves that you need to help them understand, and I'll tell you how to do that in just a second here, okay? So we're identifying them, and we're uncovering them. And so as we begin to, number one, listen to their current pains. Let's just say that, we just need more customers. I totally understand that. I get that. You're not alone. That's actually one of the top 3 responses from the vast majority of businesses. So as a business owner, number one, you're probably doing great. You got the same challenges that a lot of people do. We got to figure out how to help you solve that problem. Now, this is how you dovetail into the pains that they may not know anything about. And this is how you would do it. So in our system that we give for coaches, we have a full-blown, done-for-you, systematic approach called a focus method, right? We're really focusing on the strategies that a business needs to apply to be able to grow the business. And so one of them is called creating a market-dominating position. This is essentially saying, what's unique about your business that none of your competitors can take? Like, what is true uniqueness in the business? All right. So a way to dovetail that question, we need more clients. Totally understand that. I hear you. I wish I could tell you that was an unusual challenge. It's not. You're on the right track. Let me ask you this question. What is your current market dominating position? Now, most of the people that you ask a question like that to, they're going to go, what do you mean? Uniqueness. Like, let me ask it this way. What makes you so incredibly unique compared to your competitors that they would be crazy not to do business with you? What are you saying in your marketing? How are people answering the phone? Like, what are you communicating that's creating so much uniqueness? Many of them are going to respond with, well, and they begin to recognize the friction. And then as coaches, what we're going to tell them, again, we're in the marketing phase. We're going to begin to share with them, one of the biggest challenges if a consumer, let's just say that they're looking for a new roof, right? And they're in the acquisition mode of discovering, pricing, materials, who to work with, all those kinds of things. The one that has the stance, and I'm just using uniqueness as an example because there's other ones to talk about as well. The business that appears to be really clear on what they offer and how they do that stands the chance to win the game, especially in an overly competitive environment. So when you're helping them to, number one, you're identifying, you're empathizing with their current pains and then showing them pains that they don't even realize that's causing problems in the business, you're helping them to discover the gap. All right? And most businesses don't know what the gaps are. They think that they do. And some of them may, but the vast majority don't. We want to help them to discover those gaps. Now, you also may use tools and resources to do this very thing. We offer that to our clients in our system. We sit down with them. We go through this process where we can help them find more than $100,000 in their business in 45 minutes or less without them spending any additional monies in marketing or advertising guaranteed. We call it the 100K challenge. It's a lot of fun. It's very inviting. It uses our proprietary, very deep-driven software. In that process, though, we're going through a list of strategies. Uniqueness is one of them. A compelling offer is one of them. Cost control is one of them, and so on. And this is helping them to discover the challenges and the gaps and what would happen if they were to just have a few percentage point increases in those areas. All right. This is something that we do to highlight what they are, and then we show them how we can work with them. We utilize this to convert our clients, or prospects rather, from prospect to client. This is part of the lead gen and the marketing phase. So tools, spreadsheets, things like what we have. It's a business assessment. Highly valuable tools to help explore the gap. All right. Because everything is about highlighting what the pains are and then helping them to recognize what the opportunities are, period. So when you can begin to get on the same page, you're helping to build know, like, and trust with an individual. I don't care where you met them. I don't care how you got to know them. At some point, it's highlighting the pain points. Now, you don't want to highlight the pain points in a way that's negative and derogatory all the time. The goal is to be able to highlight opportunity by pointing out where these challenges lie. And by the way, this is an ongoing thing. This is not, you don't just fix and solve a problem and it never is there again. You go back and you reevaluate it and you make it better. You make it better. You make it better. You can see some of the biggest names in business that have been around for 30, 40, 50 plus years, fast food giants, restaurants, maybe in your local market, you've seen, plumbing companies and HVAC companies and serviceable businesses that have been around for a long time. You've seen them evolve. That's because what they're doing is they're looking at the strategies, making them better. A year or two later, they do it again and do it again, and it just goes on and it goes on and it goes on. So our goal, your goal, is highlight the pains, pointing them to opportunities. You highlight the pains and the gaps, and you show them, hey, if you were to get a 3 to 4 to 5% increase in these areas, think about what that could do for your business. More importantly, what that could do for your life from a financial perspective. And that's the goal, okay? You want to leverage the gaps, pointing them to opportunities. And you want to do so in a values-driven way that shows that you care. It shows that you understand. And what you don't want to do is to be pushy about it. You don't be a know-it-all about it. It's a very inquisitive time in building that relationship, showing value. If you were connecting with somebody at a networking event and you were to have several different conversations have several different conversations with them over several different meetings, this is a great example. Hey, Bill, hope you're doing well. I know last week we were talking about uniqueness in your business. Have you had any more time to think about that? Like, what that means to you? I have. And I'll tell you, by the way, I'll stop there. Pause. I'll stop there. I can't tell you how many times our coaches experienced this, as well as, myself and over the years of doing this, to where we'll have somebody who will say, you asked me this question about XYZ, and that got me really thinking. Man, when you get that, that's the holy grail of coaching and building relationships and value. Can't stress that enough. It's such an important piece. So there you go. Your goal, should you choose to accept it, as building your coaching practice as a believer, as a Christ follower, as somebody who cares about that business owner, what they go through. We don't want to just be a know-it-all. We don't want to just tell them exactly what to do. We want to listen with empathy and understand, but also point out these areas in building that relationship. That's the gap, pointing them to opportunities. That's pain point marketing done well. And by the way, this is an art form. Our whole brand is called Business Coach Mastery for a reason. The goal is to want to master the things that you're working on, get better and get better and get better. And I will tell you right now, the coaches who will spend a time in really mastering the art form of communication and talking about pains and pointing them to opportunities, you will have all kinds of opportunity that you can never, you'll never be able to shake a stick at, because you've spent not just days, weeks, months, years in mastery. All right. Hope that helps. Until next time, take care.